All right, we're beginning. All right, hi everyone. My name is Rita. I am one of the program and technology specialists here at the Wood County Committee on Aging. I'm very excited to introduce Hannah Smith, who is the recycling and coordinator for the Wood County Solid Waste and Management District. So if you don't mind explaining your role in Wood County, and then we'll dive into your presentation today.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rita. So like she said, my name is Hannah Smith, and I am the Recycling Outreach Coordinator for the Wood County Solid Waste Management District. And essentially, our mission here is to make sure that we can dispose of all the waste created in Wood County. So one aspect of that is managing the Wood County landfill. So that's where the bulk of our waste goes. Another aspect, which is my forte, would be the recycling. So we have 12 different drop-off sites within Wood County where we can take all of our recycling. It's free to all Wood County residents. And then another aspect of waste disposal that I'm going to hit on in this presentation is household hazardous waste. So this is waste that can't be disposed of in like a regular trash can or the recycling. Because of its nature, it has to be handled safely and securely. And we're going to talk a little bit about everyday chemicals that we use, especially to clean, that actually have household hazardous waste in them. So first of all, I just wanted to commend all of you guys for being able to do the Zoom. I was talking with Rita before we got started, and the struggle is real. So it's nice to be able to see you guys here today, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate this.
So I'm going to talk to you today. The presentation is called Home Safe Home, and it's about ways that we can continue to clean our houses that are safe for us and for the planet. Just some like green alternatives. And these materials are not new. These are things that people have been using for generations to clean. And we're kind of seeing a movement now where people are going back to the ways that their grandparents or their great-grandparents used to clean before we had all these commercial products. So I'm going to go over that. But first I wanted to go into a few more details about what is household hazardous waste. So as the name kind of implies, it's anything that is toxic, corrosive, reactive, or ignitable. So that means it's anything that's going to cause either external or internal injury to you or to the planet. So if you see these scary yellow signs on a bottle of product in your home, that means that it's household hazardous waste. And one, you should be safe when using it, and two, it needs to be safely disposed of. So when I was getting ready for this presentation, I was a little surprised. You know, obviously I'm a female, so I have my makeup routine and my hair routine, and I was researching into, you know, how much of these chemicals that we put on our face and bodies in our houses every day are regulated. And surprisingly, the FDA really does not do a lot of regulation when it comes to a lot of the products that we use on a daily basis. So that's why it's important to be able to look at the labels on the products, look for warning signs to make sure you know what you're actually putting in your home or on your skin. I also wanted to go over each product that is reviewed has a material safety data sheet. So I don't know about you guys, but I've used Lysol more this year than I have in my entire life combined. And so I thought it would be interesting to pull up Lysol brand disinfectant spray and just kind of see what the material safety data sheet had to say about Lysol. So obviously we're in the midst of a pandemic. It's very important that we take care of our health, and one of the ways that we do that is by making sure that we're virus free, we're wiping things down a lot more, we're using a lot more chemicals to try to keep the germs at bay. However, Lysol, which is one of the bigger brands of disinfectant, is not exactly safe. So I'm looking here, it's comprised of ethanol and carbon dioxide. The hazard identification says that it's extremely flammable. Ingestion may cause poisoning, skin irritation, eye irritation, Toxic sulfur oxides can be released. So Lysol is important. I use it every day at work and at home, but it also is, you know, it's something to be aware of, that it's not just a safe, benign chemical. So we're going to go over some other alternatives that are safer for us. So as you know, we've been staying indoors a lot more. Luckily, we had a really nice weekend this last week, and we're able to get outside, hopefully. But we're indoors a lot. I'm working indoors. I'm, you know, indoors at home most of the day, and the outside ambient air quality is regulated very heavily. So we regulate it for things like pollution and smog and toxic chemicals that get emitted into the atmosphere. But however, the indoor air quality, which is where we spend the most of our time, is really not regulated. The United States EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, estimates that our indoor air quality is 2 to 5 times worse than outdoor air quality. One of the things that makes it this way is something we call VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. And these are things that are chemical gases. They cause irritation externally and internally. They can lead to internal organ damage and even cause cancer. So if it's not safe for our bodies, it's probably not safe for our planet either. And when we talk about household hazardous waste, we're really worried about it entering into our waterways or into our soil. And there's a few ways that this can happen. One is that people dump toxic chemicals directly into our waterways. Another is through storm drains. So back in the day, people, you know, you'd get done fertilizing your lawn or get done painting a fence, and you would just pour the excess paint or pour the excess lawn chemicals down the storm drain. Well, storm drains flow into our rivers and our streams and our lakes untreated. So whatever goes into that storm drain goes directly into our waterways. And guess where we get most of our drinking water from? So it's important that only rain goes down the waterway, or I'm sorry, rain goes down the storm drains. And we want to make sure that we dispose of our household hazardous waste in a responsible way. Unfortunately, some people end up putting it in their trash can, which causes a lot of problems. You know, I know I've had people call me at the district and say that they had a dumpster fire in their apartment, or we've had fires at the landfill because people throw out all these household hazardous waste, these chemicals, and what happens at the landfill is everything gets compacted. So they're trying to fit as much waste into as small space as possible so that the landfill stays manageable. And when these items get compacted, I think we all know like the old school science fair experiment with a volcano, and that's kind of what happens with a landfill fire. So you have all these reactions and reagents, and they come together, and trash fires are not fun. So that's one way that we worry about household hazardous waste at the landfill. Another is through leachate. So leachate is like a fancy term for trash juice. It's anything that comes in contact with trash, any type of precipitation or water, or even the trash itself, if it has any water or fruit when it starts to decompose, that all has to be treated. So if the landfill is not properly managed, this leachate can, like the name implies, leak into nearby waterways or nearby soil. So that's another way that it can get out into the environment. And at the Wood County landfill, we monitor our leachate every day through the Hole and Associates and through the United States EPA. So we make sure that everything that goes into the landfill stays in the landfill. So I have a few tips for how to improve your household shopping when it comes to cleaning products. The first is to buy only what you need. I made this mistake when I moved into my new apartment last year, and I live by myself. I went with my friend to Costco, and I bought, you know, a lifetime supply worth of toilet bowl cleaner. So now I have 8 boxes of toilet bowl cleaner. I don't know if I thought I was going to clean my bathroom every day, but I still have 7.5 bottles left. So I broke the first rule. Another is to look at labels for keywords. So we don't want to see things that have like the yellow triangle, toxic, corrosive, ignitable, flammable. Those are products that we want to stay away from when possible. Another tip is to follow the directions on the labels. A lot of times you'll get items that are concentrated. So they're supposed to be diluted, they're supposed to be mixed with water. If we use their concentrated form, it can cause irritation for our eyes, our skin, anything that might come in contact with that product. The fourth rule is we don't want to mix products. So we're dealing with chemicals, and I am definitely not a chemist. And so I don't know, if this plus this equals this, or if it's going to cause a volcano in my kitchen. So it's best to stick to one product while you're cleaning. The fifth tip is to look for alternatives, and I'm going to cover that in more detail here in a minute. The sixth is to use it completely or give it away. A lot of times when we do like household home improvement projects, we buy a lot of paint and we might overbuy paint, and then you're left with all this unused paint, or you only used a little bit. Same with chemical cleaners. So whatever you don't use, usually you might have someone that is doing a similar project, or you can always donate some of these things to places like Habitat for Humanity and Goodwill as well. We'll take some items. The last tip I have is to store your chemicals safely. So don't be like my grandma who got moved to Waterford and loves it there. And now we have been cleaning out her basement, and she has never thrown anything away in her entire life. So she has all of these cleaning chemicals, all of these home improvement chemicals right next to like her canned goods downstairs in the basement. And it's definitely not a safe way to store the things that she had down there. So some of the ways that we can safely dispose of things is through taking them to private haulers. So here in Bowling Green, we have Environmental Recycling Group, and for a small fee, they'll take any household hazardous waste. So that includes things like paint, lawn chemicals, cleaning chemicals, industrial solvents, anything that you can't dispose of in your trash can, they will recycle there safely. There's also Heritage Environmental Services in Toledo and Radar Environmental Services in Findlay. So now I'm going to cover some of the greener, cleaner alternatives. I'm going to go over a few of the most common products that I use at home and that are widely and readily available and people have been using for a very long time. The first is baking soda. So baking soda is a great all-purpose cleaner. It has virus-killing properties. It deodorizes. I know, like, I use mine in my refrigerator, to kind of like keep some of the smell down. It's also a brightener. So I drink a lot of coffee, and sometimes you can tell that I do because my teeth don't look super white. And my dentist actually recommended putting a little bit of baking soda onto my electric toothbrush. And about once a month, I'll just use that without toothpaste, and it buffs off some of the stains. And I found out during my quarantine time that it can also act as a bleacher. So I don't know if you can tell, but I bleached a little bit of my bangs using hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. I have friends that work in like hair salons, and they have so many problems like with their skin and with their eyes from breathing in those fumes all day. And so a friend recommended this, and it actually worked, and it cost 50 cents to do. So that's within my budget. Another item that is a great alternative cleaner is white vinegar. Now the smell isn't the best, but it's really good at degreasing. I use a little bit on my floor. I mix it with lemon juice, and it acts as like a mop. I don't know how these things end up on the floor, but they do. And so this is kind of like a great all-purpose degreaser for that. Something that smells a little better is lemon juice. So this is great for getting rid of mold and mildew. I use this a lot in my shower, And then it also acts as a natural buffer and adds shine to certain items. Hydrogen peroxide. So I use this almost every day as kind of like an all-purpose cleaner and disinfectant, especially for my phone. I read somewhere that the phone is actually dirtier than a public bathroom. So I mix half part hydrogen peroxide, half part water, and I kind of use that just to wipe down all my electronics. So it's safe to use that way, and it also disinfects them. Another alternative you can do is there's a lot of new products out there that have come online in the last 5 years that are much more natural. So they don't have ingredients that you can't pronounce. I have a few examples. So Seventh Generation is a great company, and they make all natural cleaning products that are safe to use in your home. This is great, especially if you have like pets or small kids and you're worried about them getting into things. And it actually does work. I know some cleaning agents that are all natural are also not very effective, but I found Seventh Generation to be very effective. Also, some of our traditional brands. So this is called Palmolive, and it's eco. So it has no phosphates, and phosphates is something that we don't want to get into our waterway. Fortunately, when we do the dishes or do laundry, a lot of times those chemicals will go back into our waterways and they have to be treated there. So we want to avoid putting them in the first place. So I came up with a list, and if anyone's interested, I can send this out to Rita. It's called Hannah's Homemade Cleaners, and these are things that I actually use every day at my house. So to clean glass, vinegar is a great alternative cleaner for glass. You can put it on a rag or a paper towel or a newspaper. I mix half water and half vinegar, and it wipes it down without leaving streaks. Another one that I use all the time is a stain remover. So again, probably my favorite alternative is going to be hydrogen peroxide. So it's 2 parts hydrogen peroxide and 1 part dishwashing liquid. And I just have like a spray bottle that I got at the dollar store. And this is good just for kind of like an all-purpose cleaner. I have a dog, so there's a lot of stains that just show up when I get home from work, and that works really well for that. As I mentioned before, an all-purpose disinfectant would be half parts water, half parts hydrogen peroxide. This is great for electronics. And another item that commonly doesn't get disinfected as well as it should be is like your cutting board. So I use this for my cutting board as well. I also use it kind of to get rid of some of the gunk that comes down the drain after I cook and clean all week. So this helps to kind of break down some of the grease and grime in my sink drain. Now the best one that I found so far that has really, really worked wonders for me is this microwave cleaner. So it seems like every time I use the microwave, it just gets gross. So I found this like all natural way that takes out, you don't have to scrub for an hour to get it clean. It's 2 tablespoons vinegar, 2 cups of water, and then you just add a toothpick, and somehow the toothpicks helps the liquid from boiling over into the bowl. And you microwave that on high for 5 minutes, and literally you just have to take a rag and it wipes right off. All the pizza sauce or whatever else cheese has ended up on the microwave throughout the week. This is a great way to get rid of that naturally. Another one that I found to be really effective is a Miracle Shower Cleaner. So it's 50% dishwasher liquid, 50% water, and that helps especially if you have like hard water. Kind of gets rid of all that grime and all the residue that gets left on the shower tub. And because it's vinegar, I add a few drops of essential oil to make it not smell so vinegary, but it's really effective at getting rid of that tough grime. So I have some other alternatives I just want to share with you guys. I thought some of them were really creative, and the first one is for ink stains, or really any dark colored stains. So apparently hairspray can remove the ink. You spray the stain, let it stand, and then you can wash it. Denture tablets clean vases. If you fill the vase with about 1 inch of water and then add the tablet and let it dissolve, it'll get rid of all the residue that's left behind from your beautiful flowers. So when your lilies are done blooming and you need to clean out the vase, you might be able to use that. For hardwood, if you have scratches, finding a crayon that matches it actually covers in those scratches and gives it that protective barrier so you can't tell that there was a scratch in the first place. Mayonnaise removes water spots. You spread the mayonnaise on a water spot, let it soak into the wood, and then just wipe it off. It's also really good for hair conditioner. Soda water can clean carpet stains. If you have like wine or dirt, dashes of soda water help to remove that from the carpet. And speaking of carpet, baking soda is a great deodorizer for carpet. Like I said, I have a dog, and so a lot of times when I vacuum, I'll just spray down some baking soda before I run the vacuum. And you can also find some that has scents in there that make it smell even better. Lemon juice is a good polish for silver. And aluminum foil removes tarnish. So if you fill a pan with water, add a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of baking soda and a few sheets of aluminum foil. If you let that sit for about 1 hour, the tarnish will go to the aluminum foil, and then you can just rinse the pan in hot water and polish it out. So there are a lot of alternatives, and I have a little demonstration I was gonna do for you guys, and it's make your own toothpaste. So the toothpaste I use actually has baking soda in it, but this is comprised of baking soda, crushed Tums, water, and then if interested for flavoring, we can add a little bit of essential oils. So I'm going to make mine right now.
This would be great too to eliminate the plastic that toothpaste comes in too.
Exactly. So especially with a lot of our hygiene items, that plastic cannot be recycled. So don't mind my plastic cup here, but making products that you can use at home. And like I said, I put mine into like a spray bottle, and I can just keep refilling it, and I don't have to worry about either the hazardous chemicals or disposing of the packaging in the first place. So I'm adding about a ½ teaspoon of crushed Tums to my cup. And then I'm adding another ½ teaspoon of baking soda. Got a little eyedropper here for my water. And I'm gonna go with vanilla. So you just want enough water that it creates kind of a paste. And I'm not gonna actually use it, but usually when we're not virtual, we can have you guys make your own, and you'll see that it not only is effective, but it also would save you money. It saves packaging, and you know, one thing that I've become kind of cognizant of is reading what's actually in my products. So a friend of mine told me, you know, the food that you eat should have no more than 5 ingredients. And then it becomes a little alarming when you see these words that I, you know, can't even pronounce. These huge tetrasodium pyrophosphate, you know, and this is stuff that I'm ingesting. This is stuff that I'm putting in my body or in my home. So just being aware of all the chemicals that I use on a daily basis has really opened up my mind. So it's important, of course, to be safe, and especially right now to stay safe, stay clean, be hygienic. But we can also do that in a way that's safe for ourselves and for our homes. And that's through some more alternative cleaners. That's through thinking a little greener. So being healthier for ourselves and for the planet. And I think that's all I got for you guys. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Wow, thank you, Hannah. That's a lot of great information, and I took a lot of notes. I was hoping maybe you'd be willing to share your materials and that little recipe list that you made up for your special cleaners, your homemade cleaners.
Yeah.
One thing I did write down that I was going to ask. You talked earlier about the places to recycle the items that in Bowling Green you mentioned a place. So I was wondering if you could give me that list and I can disperse it to this group if they're interested. We'll make sure to get that information out there.
Yeah,
so
I refer people to Environmental Recycling Group all the time. It's off of Dunbridge Road, and they have, you can just load up all of your chemicals and paint and household hazardous waste, and they have like a drop off there. So I believe it's 75 cents per pound. But this is a safe way to dispose of it. So A, it's not sitting in your house, and B, it doesn't come to the landfill and create trash fires. We really don't want those.
Right. And I think that's one of those things I think because we don't see, if you're not involved in that business, we're not going to be seeing that. So we don't know the impact of, improper waste disposal and what that could mean. So you, as a participant, y'all might be able to unmute yourselves. If not, I will unmute everyone. And if you choose to unmute yourself, please do if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Rita.
On my stove grates and my oven racks, I was going to get the oven off stuff, but I was told that might be too harsh for both of those things. What do you have remedies for a good way to soften what's on there and to get it clean?
So I know that vinegar is really powerful at like breaking down grime and grease, which we have a lot of like built up in our ovens. But when I send Rita the list, I can look up and see if there's a all natural oven cleaner specific that might be better than buying like a, one filled with chemicals. So let me make a note of that, and I'll be sure to get that to Rita.
Okay, that'd be great. But rather than oven cleaner, it's for those black grates,
For like
you don't
a
want
gas
it to,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, you
Okay.
don't want it to turn all white, like vinegar
Right.
might cause those black grates. And then the oven racks are metal.
Okay. So you're looking for oven rack cleaners.
Yeah.
And the grates that go on top of stoves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Haha.
Sure.
So,
Anybody else have anything that other people would benefit from hearing about?
Did you say anything about ammonia?
Ammonia.
Yes, because when I worked in food service, we took all the racks out of the ovens. They got really grimy. And we'd put them in a black plastic bag and put in some ammonia and seal them up. And then the next day we would rinse them off and all the stuff would come off.
Oh, interesting.
We'll
Yeah.
have to check that out.
yes.
And I think putting them in the bags is important because then you're not like breathing in those fumes. I know when I was growing up, I was taught that if it didn't smell like bleach, it wasn't clean. And those things are like great cleaners, but we don't necessarily want to be breathing them in. So if you can keep them so they're contained and still doing their job, that's probably the best way.
The only thing is you have to be careful about disposing of, because we had somebody die at the university because somebody had dumped ammonia down that drain, the service drain. And then somebody came in with a cleaning crew and they had put bleach in their water and they dumped it and he would succumb to the fumes and he died a horrible death.
Oh,
Wow.
And so he didn't know.
So
what
maybe
had
we
been
need to be really careful about the ammonia too and just check
ammonia
and see if
and
it's
gold.
safe.
yeah. So ammonia is a household hazardous waste. So and that's kind of the hard thing because we want things that are going to clean, but we also want things that aren't going to potentially damage our insides.
Right. Right.
And also I wanted to ask, when I clean windows, I spray them with a little bit of dish detergent and vinegar. And then I clean them off with newspaper. We always use newspaper when we were kids to do windows with. Now,
Same.
if you let it dry, can you recycle that, or does that have to be disposed of another way, the paper?
You use newspaper. So once the newspaper gets wet, because it's such a, the fibers get too short once they get wet, so they can't be recycled again. So that's something you can either throw in a trash can or you could compost. But yeah, once any type of paper product gets too wet, it's not able to be recycled.
Oh, okay, because I wondered if
Good
that
to know.
affected it because of the ink and everything that's on it. You know,
The
if that
ink is
would.
actually okay. It's the fact that the water breaks down those paper fibers, and that's what they use when they recycle it. And so they get all the mixed paper. And so things like paper towels and toilet paper, we can't recycle those things because the fibers are so small, they're not able to be reused in the recycling process.
So I just throw it in my compost bin then? Is
Yep.
that what I do? Okay,
Yep.
that's good information, because I always hate to
That's
throw
great.
away. You use a lot of them sometimes.
Right. Well, anything
said-
else from anyone? Go ahead. Rita, were you saying something?
Yeah, I hate to monopolize, but when you talked about cleaning the microwave, you said 2 tablespoons of dishwasher, no, not dishwasher, dish detergent, I think. And 2 cups of water.
2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then you put it in 2 cups of water, and you just put it in a microwave safe bowl or dish, and then you add the toothpick so it doesn't bubble over the bowl. And I can send this out to Rita, and she can send it to you. And and honestly, I was so shocked because it, like, I know when I have, especially like pasta or marinara, it just takes so much effort to clean it out of my microwave. And this, I literally just wiped it down and it was done. It was awesome.
Great, great.
Yeah, I use vinegar for my coffee machine too, instead of using the chemicals. You know, I do a cycle of vinegar and then rinse it out a lot. It's very potent. You know, vinegar doesn't have the greatest smell, but it is effective.
Yeah,
Vinegar's
we do that. We do that too. Towards the end of your presentation, you said 2/3, the parts were 2/3 peroxide, 1/3 dishwasher. Yeah, that, I don't know if it's dishwasher or what. And it was for something that I wanted to clean, and I don't know.
Oh, was that the shower cleaner? Maybe.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
so.
It's half dishwashing liquid and half vinegar. And I put mine in like a little spray bottle, and I just spray it on, especially like anything that has, like, I don't know why, but my conditioner ends up going everywhere. So anywhere that has like a lot of grime or hard water stains, and I just spray that on there and let it set, and then it wipes right off.
That's great. Do you, so I know you mentioned palm olive earlier. That's the dishwashing liquid, right? The green?
Yes. So this is the example I have here at the office. But this is what I use for the dishwashing liquid. So this one is eco-friendly. So it has less of the harmful chemicals. And that's what I use for my homemade cleaners.
Great. I wrote that one down.
No, keep
That's
it
good to
on
know.
the live part.
Anything else from anybody?
I just heard
Ask
that.
her if that makes sure that that's for women's use only.
The sink out with, I always just use baking soda and bleach, or not bleach, vinegar. But this one says to use a 1/2 cup of salt and a 1/2 cup of the baking soda and then the vinegar. And I was wondering what the salt does.
Sorry, I didn't catch the first part. What were you using that to clean out of?
The kitchen sink. It said that, oh, I know what it was for. It was to clean out if you have gnats. They have a gnat infestation. I was reading how to get rid of gnats, and that's what they said to put down your drain. But I don't know what the salt would do.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure either.
Yeah, they said to put the stuff in and then let it sit for a couple of hours.
All the stuff's just for women use only.
Eggs, everything in there, because that's where they get hot. And then it said to wash it out with hot water.
So it kills the gnats?
Yeah, it kills they said a lot of the gnats come out of your drain.
That's interesting. I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, but you let it sit in there for a couple of hours after you pour it in there, and you cover it so they can't escape. And then you flush it out with hot water. But I've always just used soda and vinegar to do it about once a week. And then I don't pour any drain or any grease down there, but eventually there does get grease because it's on your dishes. But I don't recycle my grease. There used to be places you could dump off your grease, like from deep frying stuff, but I don't know any place anymore.
I don't either. I've looked around and asked around. I don't know any place that will take like residential used cooking oil or grease. So yeah, it is important that we make sure we're cleaning out our drains regularly.
So what I do is when I have a lot of grease, I scrape the pan into like an empty peanut butter jar or something. When it gets full, I throw it in with the rest of my trash.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know what else to do with it, you know.
That's what I do too. I've been asked that a few times since I started this job, and I don't know any other good alternatives besides just collecting it and throwing it away.
That's double good for me because I hate washing peanut butter jars to recycle them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I can relate.
That's why I put my grease in. Scare two problems.
I agree with you there. Well, any other final questions before we wrap up here?
Paul's been listening a little bit, but he said, I'm sure that whole presentation is for women only.
What?
So he doesn't have to clean anything.
Oh, no.
Well, he's gonna have some take-home homework, and he's gonna have to try all these recipes.
That's right.
And report back to us.
Yeah.
Well, Hannah, we really appreciate this. I know that this is a really unique time we're in, and it's great to still have you on and be educating people in Wood County with us.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and I will find out about the oven racks and send you the list of homemade cleaners.
Thank you.
And like I said, I'm really proud of you guys for being able to navigate this, because I know how hard it is for me. Rita and I were trying and talking about it before the presentation. So
yeah,
just being adaptable.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.